Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be talking about a pretty serious situation involving Crunchyroll. So a voice actor for the company has come forward with a series of allegations that, if proven true, would not only be a PR nightmare, but also the company could be facing some potential legal and civil penalties as well. Yeah, who would have thought the company that took the two biggest monoliths in the anime streaming service scene and then combined them into a giant monopoly would have some scummy behavior going on behind the scenes. Yeah, I'm totally shocked too. But here is the main protagonist of today's video, a voice actor for the company named David Walds, who is making a whole round of allegations, but the main one right here is what most people are talking about, with a whopping nearly 4 million views, nearly 100,000 likes, nearly universal support on this tweet, all while directly tagging Crunchyroll. So what happened here is a anonymous employee has informed David Walds of some pretty scummy stuff going on behind the scenes, where he made this tweet right here saying, "Dear friends, if you sent me anything care of Funimation or Crunchyroll in the last 5 years, I apologize, I didn't get it. I learned yesterday that Crunchyroll opened my private mail, threw away your letters, and passed out any included items to their staff." So before we get into the potential legal consequences, let's just talk about the optics here, because it looks terrible. If what's being alleged here is true, this is a cataclysmically bad look for Crunchyroll. It is a total violation of this voice actor's privacy, but also a violation of the privacy of anyone who sent mail to this voice actor, because if they had a private correspondence through this set of private mail, that person didn't expect Crunchyroll to be reading it. And same goes with fan letters. The fans sending letters to this voice actor did not expect anyone but the voice actor to be reading these letters, let alone receiving and distributing the gifts they sent to this voice actor. They clearly had that sort of expectation that Crunchyroll and these extra employees would not be going through this mail. Now, in terms of the legal issues here, this is a pretty scary situation, very serious stuff. If you're in the United States, there's one set of advice I can give you, and that is don't mess with the mail, okay? I know a lot of people think of the United States Postal Service as like your jolly neighborhood postman walking around with a sack of letters, handing them out. Yes, that's true too, but they also have an enforcement angle to their agency as well, and they have federal jurisdiction. There's two things you should never mess with in the United States. I don't care how powerful you are. You don't mess with taxes in the mail. I don't care where you are or how insignificant of the part of the country you think you're in. Don't mess with the mail, because they instantly have federal jurisdiction over you, and you could have feds kicking down your door. So that is not something to mess with one bit. And a lot of people are starting to guess as to what potential statutes or laws that could have been violated if these allegations are true. And as Wald points out here, this is likely mail theft. And if you look at the actual statute for it, yes, it sounds like that is a potential thing on the board here. So here is the relevant statute, 18 U.S. Code Section 1708. So there's two sections relevant for what we're talking about here. There's three sections in total, but you only have to violate one section to be found in violation of the statute, because it's an "or" after each section. So the first part says, whoever steals, takes, or abstracts, or by fraud or deception obtains or attempts to obtain from or out of any mail, post office, or station thereof, letterbox, mail receptacle, or any mail route or authorized or other authorized depository from mail matter or from a letter or mail carrier, any letter, postcard, package, bag, or mail, or abstracts, or removes from any such letter, package, bag, or mail, or any article or thing contained therein, or secretes, embezzles, or destroys in any such letter, postal card, package, bag, or mail, or any article or thing contained therein. So that's the part that really applies probably the most generally to what we're talking about here. If you have Crunchyroll employees opening up the mail and even distributing it to other people, this seems very relevant. But this part too is interesting as well. The third section saying, whoever buys, receives, or conceals or unlawfully has in his possession any letter, postal card, package, bag, or mail, or any article or thing contained therein, which has been so stolen, taken, embezzled, or abstracted as herein described, knowingly or knowing the same to have been stolen, taken, embezzled, or abstracted. Meaning, if you know what you're receiving from this package someone else opened is stolen and doesn't belong to them, you are found just as guilty as them. And let me make this clear. These are federal statutes. So you can see, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. And this is a very serious deal, right? And what I find very interesting about this situation is this tweet that he shared saying, "Dear fellow workers at Crunchyroll, below is a photo of the complete contents of one of the packages addressed to me that was opened and distributed to employees. If you ended up in possession of any of it, I would very much like it returned to me." And that goes beyond just what one individual person did when they opened up this package. They were distributing it to other employees. And under that statute we just read, they might be in just as much trouble as the person who initially opened it. So a very serious situation. And on top of that, because this is a mail-related offense, there's joint jurisdiction, meaning there's federal jurisdiction with the United States Postal Service, for example, and also the state likely has some sort of jurisdiction as well. So you can have these rules applied against you on a federal and a state level. And whatever the state laws are regarding this, I'm not sure, because Crunchyroll itself is based in many different places in the US, but their main hubs are in California and Texas. And when you look at the bio of this voice actor, you can see he is from Dallas, Texas, which is not surprising in the slightest because a lot of Crunchyroll and former Funimation employees were encouraged by these companies to move to their headquarters in Texas because Texas is a right-to-work state, meaning they can't bar you from employment if you're not a part of a union. A company like Crunchyroll can't bar you from employment opportunities if you're not a part of a union. Now, that might seem like a good thing on its face, like, oh, Crunchyroll's giving these extra employment opportunities to people who might be barred by conditions applied by the union they're in. However, Crunchyroll is doing this in a way to save money. And I don't think that's really surprising because the majority of voice actors, if they're a part of a union, almost all of them are part of the Screen Actors Guild of America. And if they show up to work with Crunchyroll, for example, if you're a member of that union, there's likely going to be conditions and benefits that you're going to receive, and Crunchyroll will have to guarantee you in order to work with them. And Crunchyroll saying, hey, buddy, don't worry about that. We'll work with you even outside of your union. Even if the union says you shouldn't work with them or you can't work with them because the conditions aren't met, we'll just work with you anyways because our state law provides for that. So they do that in order to save money. And I don't think that really surprises anyone. And this was a big controversy from 2 years ago. If you're wondering why I know about this, it was something I covered in a video back in 2022 where some voice actors were raising concerns about this, that basically that Crunchyroll is trying to underscore all of these unions by operating in Texas and taking advantage of those state laws for their own financial benefit. Now, some people have been pointing to some potential exceptions here with this whole potential violation of that statute where from the own USPS website, which I will not show you, I'll show you this article instead because that is a typical government website that literally burns your eyeballs, where it's like the bright white background with the size 4 blue tinted text that doesn't really expand. If you zoom in, it just expands the page wider. It's completely unreadable. But as they cite here, some employers do have some ability to open up your mail if it's sent to their place of business. And first off, if there's another lesson you can learn from this video besides messing with the mail, also do not have your personal mail sent to your place of employment. Do not do that because employers in most places have some level of right to open it to see if it's relevant to their business. And so I would definitely recommend not having your personal mail sent to your place of employment. And the only assumption I'm going to make in this video is that this voice actor had his personal mail as well as his fans. The type of fan mail was all directed to his place of employment in Texas working with Funimation, now Crunchyroll. That's the only assumption I'm going to make. And there is some arguments to be made that you're allowed to do that, but there are certain limits you can go. I mean, at this point, yeah, they might have peeked in to say, hey, is this relevant to our business? But is it relevant to your business to hand out the contents of the package and give it to your employees when it's clearly something given by a fan to that specific voice actor? No, that seems like a really big stretch here. And there's also some tort law here about the standard of intrusion upon seclusion, where they could be held civilly liable for going too violative of a person's privacy, in this case, this voice actor, by consistently looking at things, which includes mail. You can see right in here, it includes personal mail. And there's this other standard involved here where you don't even have to publicize any of this information. You don't have to, like, Crunchyroll doesn't have to make an article saying, hey, here's what we learned about our voice actor through opening his private mail. It's just kind of, it speaks for itself at that point. You're already violating their privacy. So again, I don't even think we have to go this far. I went probably too deep in all this because at the end of the day, the original federal statute looks like it's being potentially violated if these things are true, especially given the fact that they were opening these things and then distributing the contents to their employees. And that might get the other employees in trouble as well if they knew that stuff was opened in a violation of whatever statute, or that it wasn't supposed to be open at the very least. And things just get very messy here. And on top of that, we see from this voice actor that he has been emailing them for the past 24 hours, the producers for Crunchyroll, and has gotten no response. And on top of that, he also said this, me thinking, geez, it's a good thing that I didn't tell them about the gay discrimination, or the medical discrimination, or the union busting, or the continuous culture of fear, or the hostile workplace environment, or ... So he's implying that there is potentially some other serious violations going on at Crunchyroll, which that's a whole nother story. But for right now, looking at this situation for what it's worth, it's a pretty scummy thing if true. And if it is true, there's potentially some legal and civil penalties that Crunchyroll might be facing, and no company is too big to outmatch some of these agencies in the United States. But how this unfolds from here, we'll have to wait and see, but definitely some interesting allegations going on here. And for now, that's going to do it for this video. If there's any major updates, I'll let you guys know. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this situation in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.